local election headquarters, and today we get reaction from both sides of the aisle after the most expensive primary in Indiana history. And as our Hannah Adamson reports, it ended in victory for Senator Mike Braun after he won a crowded primary to land his party's nomination for governor.
With a commanding double-digit lead, Senator Mike Braun solidified his spot as the state's Republican nominee for governor Tuesday.
I intend to be the most entrepreneurial governor our state has ever had. I can guarantee you I'm going to be the most accessible governor the state has ever had.
Braun comparing his primary win to that of his Senate win in 2018, telling his supporters the country has fallen from that of the Founding Fathers' original vision.
We're going to take this state to a place we've never seen before.
Second place finisher Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch thanking her supporters at her Election Day watch party, calling on them to rally behind Senator Braun.
As a party, we need to unite behind him to ensure that we keep Indiana on the road to victory in November.
Hannah thanks Senator Braun, wasting no time naming his running mate the very next day. And this week they both came here to our studio for an exclusive interview. The same week he won the Republican primary, Mike Braun has made his choice for lieutenant governor. She's State Rep Julie McGuire, who represents the south side of Indianapolis.
I'm excited. I'm humbled and honored to be chosen by this great team. I'm excited to be a partner with Mike Braun.
A conservative, entrepreneurial approach. And Julie fit that better than many folks that were interested in it, many individuals that were recommended by key supporters of mine. And I think Julie's going to do a great job at the traditional things a lieutenant governor would do.
Part of the lieutenant governor's job is to preside over the state Senate, and McGuire says in just 2 years at the State House, she's built relationships with lawmakers that she'd lean on if elected.
We've talked a lot about public policy, bringing me on board to help move that legislative agenda. I've got great relationships in the House and relationships in the Senate.
But McGuire will also need the support of party delegates who make the final decision on who runs for lieutenant governor at next month's convention. It's usually something of a formality, with delegates approving whomever the nominee for governor chooses. But this year, conservative pastor and former congressional candidate Micah Beckwith is taking the unusual step of running for lieutenant governor.
What's your message to convention delegates who will ultimately make that decision next month?
Micah called me before he decided to do that. He, I think, has worked hard to make his case, and now we're going to hear my case. And I think for Julie, being a partner with her conservative credit and her legislative chops in a small amount of time, that's how you actually get things done.
Meantime, on the other side of the aisle, Jennifer McCormick is also considering potential running mates, something I asked her about on Tuesday night.
What's your plan, your timeline for selecting a running mate?
Yeah, so we're already starting to vet folks, and so we have a short list, and so we'll continue to do that. No one's off the table, but we know what we want is the very best. We want someone who will complement with strengths and stay true to the values at hand.
On social media, Beckwith shared a statement on Braun's decision, calling it a solid choice, but he added it's up to the elected convention delegates to decide this race, and they'll have a voice and a choice at the state GOP convention. And we asked Braun about that as we bring you more of our interviews now with Mike Braun and Jennifer McCormick.
It's not like I don't know most of these delegates. I always emphasize visiting all 92 counties. Well, I've met many of them, and we've been talking to them as well. So it'll be a competition of what we propose versus what Mike has been doing, and I'm okay with the outcome. I think we're going to win it, and I think that Michael will be fine to support our effort if he does not.
Mr. Beckwith put out a statement Tuesday night saying congratulations to Senator Braun. He's going to be a great governor. I look forward to working with him to win this race.
Sure.
He sounds like someone who's at least somewhat confident he may be able to get the delegate.
And if he does, you give him credit for doing it. And I'm okay with the process. I think the outcome will be good for us, and I think Julie's going to be tremendous at the role.
You've both served in the legislature. Will that help you when it comes to working with state lawmakers? As you just mentioned, we've seen a few instances in recent years where there's been a bit of a power struggle between the legislative and executive branches.
I feel like my caucus in the House is very aligned with Senator Braun, with Mike Braun, and what he wants to do. So I think it's going to be very positive for moving his agenda quickly. We're really on the same page.
And adding to it, you got to remember, I served in the legislature 15, 16, and 17 friends, associates. I'm going to be a governor that is going to propose a lot of ideas. And then you got to do like I've had to do in the U.S. Senate, which is a probably tougher navigation. Here, you can set that maybe ideas for a legislative agenda and weigh in on it and hopefully get them to embrace some of your ideas.
What will some of those ideas include, and what do you hope to focus on this year? There were a lot of voices within your party saying they didn't think you were focused on the right issues in the primary, that you were too focused on national issues. I know you referenced that a few minutes ago. What's your response to that, and what will some of those ideas be?
Well, our primary voters wanted to hear about that too. When we talk about the things you see the ads on and what you're talking about, they want you to have an opinion on the border, on things that they know impact from a national level, our own state.
You feel that's what voters wanted to hear in this primary?
We knew that, but they're also interested in then, once you get further down the trail, what you're going to do with what the special, unique opportunity is, having been there, one that's not afraid to stick his neck out and then do things legislatively. And that's going to be healthcare costs. That's going to be workforce. That's going to be affordable housing. That's going to be rural broadband into every nook and cranny. High cost of our energy now is an issue. Electric bills, property taxes, something that probably weren't resonating then, even though everybody was complaining about it. I'm going to have a proposal on how we prevent the outrageous increases in property tax bills. That is kind of where you pivot from where we were to where we're going.
And you plan to put out some of those proposals here throughout the course of this campaign?
And I've already got it in my freedom and opportunity agenda generally, and we'll start putting some meat on those bones.
It's going to be a tough race, but we're ready to go. We've got great bipartisan support. We've got a great grassroots coalition, and we're ready to go. We know we're on the correct side of issues, and Hoosiers are with us.
What are the issues you're going to take to voters and prioritize in this race for governor?
Yeah, I mean, the choice is clear. I'm trying to restore our reproductive rights and freedoms for women's health care and embrace that independence that we worked so hard to have. Also champion for education, including childcare and universal pre-K and good paying jobs. And obviously we're going to champion for our water as well. I know a lot of folks are very concerned about what's happening with our water. So, we know we have the majority of Hoosiers across the political aisle that really support those issues. And we're going to work hard to bring that focus right back to where it needs to be. And that is the issues impacting our daily lives.
You used to be a Republican yourself. This is a fairly red state. It may take Republican voters to help put you over the edge. Where do you position yourself politically, ideologically in this race for governor?
Yeah, we're already seeing that bipartisan support. We've got a lot of Republicans helping us with donations. We've got a lot of Republicans helping us volunteer. And we just saw that 60% of the voters, didn't choose Senator Braun. So we welcome them to join our efforts, and we've got a lot of work to do. But again, we're on the side of the issues that impact us on our daily lives, and people are concerned.
What's this race against Jennifer McCormick going to be like?
I think it's going to be one where in this state, if you come out with, I think, policies that are conservative in nature, but yet, as I always say, entrepreneurial, that fits our state. And for her, she's going to have to deal with a lot of the kind of stuff that comes along with their national party if you're trying to espouse that here in this state. So you can see clearly that's not working very well for most Hoosiers when it comes to that. But again, it is different in that, this is a state race, not a race that's got national impact. It does if you do a really good job at it, because I'm a believer also that governors are going to be the ones, along with their legislatures, that actually fix things in this country. And I'm looking forward to that.
For tonight, I think it turned out the way we thought it would turn out. We welcome this race in November. I just know too that, the fear and chaos that Senator Braun has kind of lingered around in what came out of that Republican primary. People are tired of it. They're frustrated. They're just exhausted. They're ready for opportunity and optimism. They're ready for bipartisanship and common sense. And that's what we're ready to bring them.
All right, so there's the matchup for the fall. Braun, McCormick, and Libertarian Donald Rainwater. He got more than 10% back in 2020. We'll be talking with him in the coming weeks as well. We also know the matchup now for the U.S. Senate race this year. Republican Jim Banks up against Libertarian Andrew Horning and Democratic candidate Valerie McRae. She beat Mark Carmichael by more than 30 points in the primary on Tuesday. All right, let's look at more of the results. Starting in the congressional district, starting up north in the 1st District, it'll be incumbent Frank Mrvan against Republican Randy Niemeyer in a district Republicans have been targeting in recent years. District 2, incumbent Republican Rudy Yakam up against Lori Camp. Both were uncontested in the primary. 3rd District, an open seat. It'll be Republican Marlon Stutzman, who used to represent this very district. He'll be up against Democratic candidate Kylie Adolph. They both spoke with our affiliate in Fort Wayne.
We didn't know what to expect on how close it was going to be, but I'm excited to be the nominee, and I'm very honored to be the nominee because we have a lot of work in Washington to do to get this country fixed and get it back on track.
Our whole mantra is we're just going to keep showing up. We're just going to keep showing up for the people in our district and in our communities, and that it's resonating with people.
All right, now let's go to the 4th. Incumbent Republican Jim Baird survived a primary challenge there, winning 65% of the vote. He'll be up against Derek Holder, who won the Democratic primary, winning more than 60% of the vote himself. Pretty interesting race in the 5th District. Victoria Spartz wasn't going to run again. Then she changed her mind. She beat Chuck Goodrich in the GOP primary by about 6 points in what was a pretty contentious race. She'll go up against Deborah Pickett, who won the Democratic primary in the 5th. In the 6th, it's an open seat. On the GOP side, it's former Indianapolis mayoral candidate Jefferson Shreve, who won a crowded primary. We spoke with him Tuesday night.
We've got a vigorous bench of talent in the Republican Party, and I competed with some very capable, experienced folks for this race, and I'm thankful to have earned the nomination and the confidence of the voters of the 6th.
So now Shreve goes up against Democratic candidate Cindy Worth in the fall. Elsewhere in the 7th District in Indianapolis, incumbent Andre Carson handily won the Democratic nomination. On the Republican side, the winning candidate is actually deceased. Jennifer Pace died earlier this year, but her name couldn't be removed from the ballot, so the party will hold a special caucus of precinct committee members to determine the Republican candidate. In the 8th, it's an open seat. It was State Senator Mark Messmer winning the Republican primary over former Congressman John Hostetler. He'll go up against Democrat Eric Hurt in November. Finally, in the 9th, Republican incumbent Erin Houchin won a commanding victory Tuesday. She'll face Timothy Peck, who won the Democratic primary. All right, coming up next on this week's edition of In Focus, we'll talk with our panel about Mike Braun's running mate and the fight that could still be looming in the party, and why Indiana's presidential primary is drawing national attention on a busy week in the news for former President Trump.